I really like how the movie just immediately begins with a woman bathing. Ancient, weird, religious rites. Totally a normal book a woman like this would read. And I guess for the crime of reading such a normal book, she gets stabbed in the eye and the brutal first kill off. Wow, that is a fucking ear-grating song. Directed by the infamous Herschel Gordon Lewis. Well, nowadays he's mainly known for his splatter films. Before this, he made softcore porn. The film ended up being massively influential, as it's basically the first splatter flick, a genre of movies characterized by its, let's just say, liberal usage of gore. Basically a precursor to modern day torture porn. Sure, there were films before this that were violent, but this film was basically the first that was gratuitously violent, as demonstrated by the numerous kills that I cannot show, which is a shame cause the kills are pretty much the only reason this film even exists. Cause it isn't due to the fucking incredible story that Lewis wanted to tell. Which, speaking of, after the death of woman, we are transported to the offices of the Homicide Bureau, where we meet our main protagonist, Pete Thornton, who's trying his best to investigate all the recent murders with his fellow detective despite the lack of evidence. After their incredibly thrilling puzzling, which, side note, happens consistently throughout the film, we are taken to Fuad Ramsey's exotic catering. You know it's exotic, cause the sign's in a Chinese font. In there we meet Mrs. Dorothy Fremont, who's looking for a caterer for a, and I quote,
I'm giving a
dinner party for
my
my daughter. Luckily, her friend Annette Dupree has recommended a caterer who meets her unusual demands. But unluckily, it's the killer. Oops. Fuad Ramsey's suggest an Egyptian feast, one which has not been served for 5,000 years. Perfect for a door who coincidentally studies ancient Egyptian culture. Side note, I Wikipedia'd it and turns out ancient Egyptians ate mostly the same foods as today. Even stuff like foie gras, I fucking hate the French, was invented by the ancient Egyptians. They even drank considerable amounts of alcohol. There would also be music, dancers, flowers handed out. To be honest, an ancient Egyptian style feast doesn't sound too bad for a party, but keep in mind that this is all from one Wikipedia article, so take all this shit with a grain of salt, and if there are any ancient Egyptian historians out there, feel free to correct me. After Mr. Fremont leaves, he limps to his storage room, where we are introduced to Ishtar, who apparently the feast is dedicated to, despite the fact that most ancient Egyptians would actually pray to Hathor, not Ishtar. But hey, do I really expect Lewis to care about historical accuracy? Yes. But you know what he does care about? Kills. Which we're going to get, cause Tony over here isn't listening to his girlfriend.
Mom will worry about me when it gets dark.
It's still early. Look, we'll go when it gets dark.
But it is dark. Doesn't matter if she gets killed and scalped. Oh, and there's just a random snake, okay?
She wanted to leave. It's all my fault.
Sure is, bro. Sure is. And I'd be a fucking terrible therapist.
Did your daughter belong to any organizations, clubs, anything like that?
No, she had lots of friends. She did have a name on a book club list.
Book club list. Now that's a clue. It's not long before we're brought into another kill, which comes right after a strangely art house scene. This kill is notable, as it features Ramses just ripping out a woman's tongue, which is just gnarly as hell. An effect achieved by using a sheep tongue. Actually, I'll take this moment to talk about the superb practical effects of the movie. I mentioned this in my Suspiria review, but I personally think that exaggerating the blood's color and viscosity can really help to make a kill more brutal and violent. This movie is no different, with the blood being nicely bright red with a very paint-like consistency. In fact, according to Wikipedia, I guess that's the only thing I'm going to be referencing from, Lewis filmed the film in color to show the bright red blood he used to make the kills, which, it's worth noting, the reason he made this film was because he felt cheated that Hitchcock's Psycho didn't show any of the action. So, if you think I was exaggerating when I said that the kills were the only reason this film exists,
I just shudder when I think about that butcher, that maniac butchering all those girls. I wish they could find out who did it and put him where he belongs. I won't feel safe until they do.
I'm sure the police will find him real soon.
Yeah, about that.
Oh, well, I found a perfectly delightful caterer who has a marvelous idea. Who? His name is Fuad Ramses.
Ramses the First and
Gotta love that match cut. It takes us to the ancient Egyptian culture class that Suzette is attending alongside Detective Pete.
the crowd would gather at the temple for the great feast, the blood feast.
Title drop. Hey, so it turns out one of the killer's victims actually survived. Oh, I guess not. But before she orgasmed to death, well, I guess as she was orgasming to death, she blurts out,
Eat her! Eat her!
Oh, wait, was that a fucking part trombone sound effect? A book titled Ancient Weird Religious Rites. I wonder if Fuad Ramses the oh yeah. Another really funny match cut. This time to a bunch of women just having fun in the pool. Until Fuad Ramses shows up and kidnaps the aforementioned Trudy Sanders.
Real Egyptian style stuff, huh? Who? Fuad Ramses. Oh, just like Dr. Flanders' speech, huh? Well, I hope it isn't exactly like Flanders described.
Bad news. It is. Hey, look, there's Trudy Sanders. I wonder if her name's a reference to Colonel Sanders. After all, he did sponsor and even showed up for a Lewis film. No joke, look it up. I really like how you can tell that they just soaked the whip in some sort of red liquid to achieve the effect of lashes. But like, to be fair, like, this is the budget of the film.
Ishtar. 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 Dr. Flanders, now you gave a talk last week on the blood feast of Ishtar, the Egyptian goddess. One more question, sir. Have you ever heard of a man called Fuad Ramses? He runs a catering service. Oh? Ancient, weird, religious rites, huh? We found a copy of that on the... Yeah, Lieutenant Thornton, listen, alert all cars. Send into the vicinity of 45th and Lincoln. A place called Ramses Catering. I think we got our killer.
Looks like Pete here has just cracked the case. He's gotta go fast though, cause it's already a bit too late for Trudy, who seems to be wearing a scarf for some reason. We can only assume that it's a really cold room. But of course it's supposed to be. I guess her neck, like, cut a bit. Look, it doesn't look convincing, but then again, here's the budget, right? This is the budget of the movie.
Come on, Nancy. Mr. Ramses is about to serve. It's my boyfriend calling long distance. I had him, now we're cut off. I have to wait.
Guess even women in the 1960s were obsessed with their phones.
Oh, here's our Mr. Ramses now.
Looks like Fuad Ramses has arrived to the house, ready to prepare the feast. He tries to kill Suzette in a strangely comical scene, but before he could, he gets caught by Mrs. Fremont, and then just runs away, again in a strangely comical way.
Ramses was the killer we've been looking for. Mrs. Fremont, I'm afraid this feast is evidence of murder.
Oh, dear. The guests will have to eat hamburgers for dinner tonight.
What the fuck? Ramses is chased into a trash dump, where he just hops onto a random garbage truck, where he's then unceremoniously killed in undoubtedly the film's worst kill.
He died a fitting death, the garbage he was.
Fun fact, garbage used to mean the entrails of an animal. The film ends with Ishtar crying blood. Maybe it's because of the film's shitty-ass sound. Bloodface is one of those movies that's, okay, in truth, kinda bad. The story is beyond simple, and the directing isn't anything to write home about. There's pretty much only one part of it that's good. But the thing is, that good part is really, really good. The gore effects were shocking and new for their time, and in my honest opinion, they still hold the test of time. And to give the film some credit, unlike a lot of other movies, which I can name, the kills do come one after another pretty quickly, and there isn't a lot of downtime in between, making for a short but interesting film that's definitely worth a watch just for the brutal kills alone. That's how good they are. Blood Feast would go on to spawn a somewhat sequel, a natural sequel, and a remake. It is also the first in Lewis's Blood trilogy, which I will be covering sooner than later. Thanks for watching. This has been the Orange Guy. Have a nice day. Well, that was a